Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and here now the news. Scientists say that melting Arctic ice could be another source of pollution for the world. Over the decades, unfriendly compounds such as DDT have been collecting in the ice pack, so that now, as the ice melts, the devastating compounds are being released. More later. Maybe lots. In Washington, Congressman David Wu resigns after an 18-year-old accused him of Congress. Some sneaky news from the recent Pew study indicate that white families in the U.S. have a net worth some 20 times that of black families on average. But who, I ask, is average these days? Not Kimberly Wimberly of Little Rock Ark. We hear she has learned her lesson. No, you can't be a valedictorian even if you did get the highest GPA and had a stellar record. Nope, you see, you are black. And down there, that's all the splaining they need to have done. But she's taking them to task and court, and no, it won't start out with love, love. Meanwhile, the NAACP denounces voter ID laws which seem racist in effect, if not intent. And the related story of the fascist goober in Wisconsin has voter ID working its magic there, but has taken it another step to disenfranchise those he hates by closing DMV offices in places where his people don't live. Is that a sweet little dick trick or not? In Margarita, Florida, the dim-bulb, wingnut, and tinfoil hat brigades of the Thugly and right-wing have taken their X-lax finally and cleared their throats, gargling for action that has already sent about 4,000 FAA employees packing, costing millions a day of much-needed revenue. These savages also want to close nearly as many post offices nationwide, and all I can say is, you go, girls. The damn no-craps want to fix this, but are apparently wussies because they can't even get it up or jam it down anyone's throat, not even their own. The garrulous old poopers, GOP, wanting to make progress, have hired Sean, Mr. Insanity Hannity, and Brit Anal Fume Hume to help them clarify the vomit they've been spewing to make it palatable for infants everywhere.
Oh my God.
Overseas, the word is that Japan is experimenting with beef cattle. So far, no one seems to think that cesium is a condiment. However, you can still find it in the stores. Look for the glow-in-the-dark labels. Randy Vickers resigned today after cyber attacks struck the CIA, the Senate, the White House, the House of Representatives, the Pentagon, and the Supreme Court all at the same time, while apparently no one either noticed or cared. NORAD is conducting training flights over Washington, D.C. this weekend in coordination with everyone under the sun. Maybe they'll learn how to prevent a commercial airliner from crashing into things. We hope, 11 years later. Well, Iran blames the U.S. and Israel for shooting to death of yet another nuclear scientist, so inquiring minds want to know. So who do you think is trying to tell someone else something, what and why and wherefore? Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, British troops using 30mm cannon fire turned 5 children working in a field into hamburgers. In Jefferson County, Alabama, an Uzbek man was arrested after repeatedly threatening Obama and buying machine guns and explosives. While his neighbors didn't think that was too unusual, they thought his accent was and became suspicious when he couldn't seem to understand who the Crimson Tide was. And this is what prompted this whole thing. In a spectacular, perhaps record-breaking public display of absolute ignorant, unfathomable heartlessness, Glenn, the old dickless wonder himself, Beck, compared the youthful victims of the Norwegian tragedy to members of the Hitler Youth, saying, in part, quote, "There was a shooting at a political camp, which sounds a little like, you know, the Hitler Youth. I mean, who does a camp for kids that's all about politics anyway? That's dangerous." Unquote. In related news, Mr. Breivik's records indicate that he enjoyed cruising the Tea Party's website of a Miss Geller. In other online posts, it was discovered that Mr. Breivik wanted to put liquid nicotine into the hollow point bullets he used to ensure a greater kill ratio, they suspect. Black in America, President Obama's fortunes continue to plummet as many of his former supporters continue to hold up signs at rallies and elsewhere using the mysterious letters WTF. Anyway, in Washington, the acrimonious so-called debate over the debt ceiling continues to entertain, while those who have all the money don't give a shit about anything else. And those who don't can't do squat about nothing, and no one has any idea what to do, what will happen, or why, and there is no plan B. They're working on plan L, I think. Well, that's the news for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, and good night, Miss Calabash, wherever you are. Thank you.